Hey guys, what's up? I'm Deepak Shrivastava. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're gonna learn about Power Automate and Microsoft OneNote integration. If I log into flow.microsoft.com, okay, and create a new flow, and once I click on New Tab and search for OneNote, I can see there is a OneNote connector, as you can see here, and it has lots of actions and triggers. So let's see what different actions are available and how you can use this automation to enhance your day-to-day work. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, I have different actions like creating a new section, creating a new notebook, updating a page content, getting a page, getting the page content, creating the page. So as you can see here, what all the different activity that we can do in OneNote, we have an action available in Power Automate that you can use to automate that process. We understand what all different actions are available in Power Automate, but where is the practical need to automate that? Okay, so let's understand the use case that I'm going to use today for this video. You can also think your use case and try to use those automation. So in my scenario, I'm owning the entire project program under which we have the different projects. Okay, and each team is working on their project. They report the status to me via email. Okay, so multiple team reporting the status to me, and what I need to do, because I want to track or keep the track of all those different status, I generally copy or take the information from the email and paste it into my OneNote, right? So you can see here I have the project status, each page representation of a project, and then for each project I am doing this manual work. Now if I need to do it one time, it's good, but if I have to do like regularly every week and if I have multiple projects, this is too much work. So then I just decide that why not automate that process. So whenever I receive a status for a project, I will use Power Automate to automatically get the status from my email, find the OneNote, and paste that status to the project. Now there is one check that we need to do. For example, I'm receiving the status for a project for which I have already received status previously. So it's a new status, right? I don't want to create a new page again for each project. Instead, I just want to create one project page, and for each week status, I want to update the page content as I'm receiving the status for the same project. So these were some of my criteria that I used for this video. Okay, so we're gonna learn that. So let's start. First thing first, I'm going back to my Power Automate flow and I'm going to create a new automated flow. Now why we are creating an automated flow? Because we are trying to automate this process as soon as I receive an email. So which trigger I need to look for? Outlook, when a new email arrives. Okay, so I'm going to select that, click create. This is going to create my trigger and my trigger is ready. I need to select in which folder I'm going to receive the email. That's there. And then one thing you can do, I'm not going to do it here. If you are doing it for the production use, make sure that you are using the right filter to filter those emails that you want to move to the OneNote. Otherwise, each and every email that you receive will move to the OneNote. Okay, so you can do that filtering here. In my case, I don't really have that criteria, so I'm going to just keep it as it is. Okay, so I'm good to go. When a new email arrived, what I need to do, correct? So the first thing that I need to do, I need to get all the pages in the given section. Okay, and what is the page? These are the pages, these are the sections. Sections are nothing but a different grouping that you have already created in your OneNote. So in my OneNote, you can see I have my note, project status, my new sections, new team. What I'm looking for, whenever I receive an email, I want to go to this project status section and find all the pages. Why I am finding all the pages? Because I need to make sure the email that I have received, whether it is for a new project or for an existing project. Okay, so I'm going to go here, click on New Tab, search for OneNote. Okay, so these are my OneNote actions, and here I'm going to search get pages for a specific section. So this is the action that we're going to use. Select that. What it's going to ask you, it's going to ask you the notebook key. Notebook key is nothing but your entire OneNote. So if you click on the drop down, you will see if you have multiple notebook, you will see all of them. Right now I'm working on OneNote. This is my note, is the name of my OneNote. So I'm going to select that. And then once I select that and click on the notebook section, I can see all of the section that you can see in my OneNote here. Okay. What I need to select? Project status. Perfect, right? So I had created my trigger and I have also created my first action to get all the project. Now the next important point. What I need to check. So the email I received for a given project, and if that project is already exist or not in this section. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another action called filter. Okay. So what this filter array does, it's gonna ask you that where you want to apply the filter, and where I want to apply the filter in the response that I'm getting from this action, get pages for a specific section, because this is an array of all the pages that I have. So I'm going to say, okay, apply the filter here. And if I select the choose value, and you can see what all information I'm getting here in this section. So I'm getting the body, I'm getting pages in the section. There's lots and lots of information here that I'm receiving, right? What I am interested in is the title. So if you look here, these are the titles: so email, project A, status, Microsoft Teams, update. These are the different title, or you can look here. These are the title of my project. So what I'm interested right now, that if the title, okay, of the response that I'm receiving is equal to, I'm going to look for my email trigger here and say subject. So in my scenario, what I am saying, or what I have told my team, that whenever they're going to send me the status update, the subject should be the name of the project. Okay. So here, this filter array is very simple. I'm filtering the response that I have received from this action, all the pages, and filtering those pages where the page title equal to the title or the subject of the email. So this is gonna filter everything for the project that I'm received the email. Okay, understood? Very good. Okay, now let's go to the next action. Now let's say that project actually doesn't exist. So in that case, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a quick condition that if project exists in the OneNote, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna add or update the content of the page. If it doesn't exist, then we're gonna create a new page and then add the content. So we're gonna use two more OneNote actions. But before, search for conditions, select the choose value, go to the expression, type length, okay, and what we're gonna pass here in this length section, go to the dynamic content again and select the response or output of this filter array action. So that is the body. Click OK. So what we are doing here, we are trying to find the length. Length is nothing but number of item in this array. So if the project page exists, it's going to return 1, right? And if it doesn't exist, it's going to return 0. So what I'm saying, if this is greater than 0, what does it mean? If the length of the array or this filter is more than 0, that means 1, that means that page has already been created. And if it is not greater than 0, that means it's 0, that means the page doesn't exist. So we need to create the page. Okay, so we will assume the page don't exist. So we're going to first complete the no part and then we will come to the yes part. So come to the no, click on add an action. Again, we need to search for OneNote. Now, because the page doesn't exist, so we're going to create a page. Okay, so there is an action called create page in a section. I'm going to select that. What it is going to ask me, it's going to ask me my notebook key. My notebook key or my notebook name is OneNote. It's going to ask me the section, like where you want to create. I know I'm going to create under project status because this is the section where I want to create a page for each project. Then the page content. In OneNote, right, when you look at this content here or whatever you are seeing here, it is actually behind the scene, it's an HTML. Okay, though it's looking like what you are seeing plain text, but behind the scene it's an HTML page. So when you are creating the content or creating the page and passing the content, you need to make sure that you are passing that content into the right HTML format, how the OneNote is expecting. Okay, You can start typing here also, and that will be okay. If I just type the information here, it will create the page and it will pass the content. But the problem will happen with the title, right? Or you can say the name of the page. When you're gonna create a new page using using Power Automate, you need to make sure that you are passing the name of the page while you are creating it. There is nowhere in this action a separate field where you can say, okay, this is going to be the name of my not name of my page. So you need to actually, instead of using this one, my recommendation, you will click on these code view icon here. So you will click here. You will delete whatever is already listed there, and then we're going to write a very simple HTML. Okay, it's simplest HTML that you can think of. Okay, so this is my simple HTML. Okay, I am having the HTML tag, language, header, and body. It doesn't need to be this simple, and if you are good in HTML and if you want to apply a lot of styling when you are creating the page content, you can. Okay, like here you can apply coloring, you can apply tables, and all of that you can do. I'm just keeping it very simple so that it's easy to understand and follow. The most important part is this head. Okay, this is what gonna drive the title or the name of the page. So whenever you are creating, use the head attribute, and then in the title I'm passing the subject that I'm receiving from my email. Okay, so as you can see here, the subject is what I am using as my project title. Okay, and then in the body I'm just passing whatever the email body is. So whatever the user or my team is going to type in that email, that's what actually going as it is, and I'm going to save it to my OneNote. Okay, this will make sure this one action is going to making sure it's going to create the page, the new project page, give the right title, that's the subject received in my email, and also pass everything that I'm receiving in my email. Okay, so this part is good. Let's say if the project already exists. So now I'm going to my yes condition and add a new action and search for OneNote. Now we're gonna use another action here. Okay, so this time I'm going to use update page content. Okay, and when you select your update page content action, you will get these different fields that you can pass. The notebook key, it should be OneNote. Your section name, that's my project status. Page ID, because we are updating and we have already checked here that page exists, we need to pass the page ID. Okay, so I'm gonna select enter custom value here because we don't want to hard code, right? We don't know which page ID we are going to get. So for the unique ID for the page, if you look at this filter array, because this is where we are filtering the information that we have received, there is something called unique identifier for response. This is nothing but the ID, the unique ID of the page. I'm going to select that. You see, right? So what happened, the Power Automate automatically had added this apply to each. And why it happened, why it does that? Because we are doing this filter array, and Power Automate just being a little bit careful that you may get more than one page based on your filter criteria. In our case and how we are writing, this is going to be always one, but for the safe side, Power Automate always does that. So now we are saying update page content and we pass the unique ID of the page. Now we need to update the target, like what we want to update. When you say update target 1, you can actually update more information. And as I said, if you remember, this is an HTML, correct? So if you look at the HTML, it's going to have the head, it's going to have the title, body, and all of this information. Or if you are creating your own custom HTML, all of those different elements that you have in HTML, you can update. Okay, so for example, if I want to update the title, I can update the title of the page. If I want to update the body, I can, and that's what we're going to do, because what I wanted to do, when I'm going to receive the status again for the same project, I want to append that status that I have received to the existing status that I already have in my OneNote. So for example, if this is my status, right, what I wanted to do, I want to update and add the new status here as I'm receiving. So what I'm going to do here I just need to type the name of the element, HTML element. So it's going to be the body, right? I'm going to update the body. Then the action, what you want to do, you want to append, insert, prepend, replace. Okay, I'm going to say append, and it's going to ask whether you want to before, after. So I'm going to say after. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to type updated on colon, and then I will go to expression and I will search for UTC now. I added this content updated on, just the text, and then I am passing the UTC now. UTC now is going to give me the date as of right now. So what I'm doing, as soon as I'm going to receive the new status, I want to add this line here, right? So that I know when I have updated or when the status got updated. Okay, then I'm going to click new item. Okay, so you can add multiple content one by one. Here I am adding another one. The logic is very simple. I'm going to say body, append, location after, and this time my content is nothing but the body of the email that I'm receiving. Awesome, right? I'm going to save it. I'm going to open my email and I'm going to start typing the new email. So for now I'm just sending it to myself, and I'm going to make sure that we don't have that project exist. Yes, we don't. Okay, so project alpha, and here what I'm going to pass. Okay, so this is a sample status that my team is going to send me. Okay, and as you can see here, it has some coloring and all of that. Okay, so I received my email. Now I will go to my flow, and you can see the flow had just completed successfully. And if I open the flow, you can see the trigger works when an item is received. Then we got all the pages. Then we did the filter array. And as you remember, we didn't had the project alpha, right? That project doesn't exist. The page doesn't exist. So the body is empty. So it should go to the new page creation on the right hand side, as you can see here. And it actually completed this work. Okay, now we'll jump on to our OneNote and see if the project alpha page got created and if the content has been updated. Yes, it does. So if you see here, the project alpha is there, and all the status that we have received in email is already pasted here. Okay, and it's not an image. You can actually update if needed. So that was the creation. Now let's say another team member, or maybe someone who has sent me the status, has sent another status, right? They have sent the updated one. Okay, so I'm going to send that email again. Remember, it has to be the same name, otherwise it will not work. And this time I'm going to send a newer update, right? So this is my new update. I'm going to click send, go back to my flow. Let's wait for it to trigger. And once it's triggered, then we will see if our OneNote is updating or not. Okay, so flow is running. I'm going to open that and let's wait for it to complete. This time it should go to the left hand side of the condition, because the project alpha is already exist in our OneNote, and it does. It went to the left hand side. And if I go to my project alpha and refresh, there you go, right? So you have your previous update, and this is the latest update has been added here, and that's the way it's going to keep updating. Now I have the setup ready. Perfect, right? So we did the one part. Now what about other way around? So let's say I'm receiving these status and everything is looking good, but what if I want to take the information that I have in OneNote and like to send it back to someone by email? So for that I have this one, my OneNote, okay, and here I have this one page, learning, right? And what I do, I go to the meetings, I collect all the information, and I keep my notes here. What I want, that an automatic recurring flow that can run every week or every day, collect everything that I have here in my learning page and send an email to someone, so that they can also have what I was working on and what I'm doing. Okay, so for that I'm going back to my flow, click on the new flow here. For the demo, I'm just going to create instant. Okay, so in this flow, because we are trying to get content from the OneNote, I'm going to start searching for OneNote. Okay, and then the action that we're going to use is called get page content, because we are trying to get the content for a given page, right? The notebook key, as you know, it's my OneNote. The section, this time I'm using, okay, and my page ID is learning. So this is the page that I'm gonna write my flow to. Then the next step is very simple. Outlook and send an email, because we want to send an email. For this time, I'm going to send to myself, but of course you can send it to anyone. Subject, my weekly learning. And in the body, this is the simplest way. Like, for example, you just need to select the body, and that's it. Pass the body that you are receiving from your OneNote, this case get paste content, and save it. And then I'm going to test this one. Click test. Let's see if I received the email. I did. And you notice, right? So whatever I had in my OneNote, including this image of architecture and all the data point, now in my email. So those were the two use cases I wanted to cover in this video. If you like to know more about different actions that we have in OneNote, please leave the comment and maybe I'll create another video. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching my videos and all the love and support. Keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.